Carry on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we want to give them a few minutes, we can do that.
Money you make, and it, yeah. It's here.
After.
You'll find, I think that
Go to save.
this opens up pathways,
Right.
yeah.
This is not.
I actually kind of like that kind of work.
Yeah.
But for some reason I've always,
Most people would find you manage private assets. Leos and some intangible assets to mix things.
I just want a paycheck every 2 weeks.
There you go.
And
Stability. Pretty.
well, my husband's self-employed, and I mean, we do fine, but I just, I'm like, if I make a certain amount of money, I can put up with anything as long as a paycheck comes every couple weeks. I'm at that point in my life.
Oh, Laura will not be here. Got an email from her that I forgot about.
Oh, okie doke. When I sent an email to you a little bit ago, I thought I probably should have waited to send that because she's probably going to look at that and think, oh crap, she's not coming.
Okay, so Henry can take over.
Did I hear you say she's not going to be here?
She's not.
Okay.
I got her email. You guys can speak down, say where you're at, whatever you want.
They'll go over this first. And then we'll switch to, oh, actually, then we go to the minutes. They're gonna approve the minutes. And then, oh, wait, no. So they'll go through here, they'll go through the agenda, and then I think that they go through the minutes and approve the minutes. And then we go to the land use application.
Okay.
This one's pretty
Can we proceed?
simple, so it will be
Ready?
a good one.
Okay. We'll proceed with our meeting tonight, Sweet Home Planning Commission agenda. And the City of Sweet Home is streaming the meeting via Microsoft Teams platform and asks public to consider this option. There'll be an opportunity for public input via the live stream. To view the meeting live online, visit http://live sweethomeoregon.gov. If you don't have access to the internet, you can call 971-203-2871 and enter the meeting ID.
Commissioner Wolthius, you don't need to read that part. Just go ahead and start with the agenda,
Okay.
the items.
Okay. We'll call to order this meeting and have a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Text from Joey.
Okay, roll call for commissioners.
Yes. Okay, in here. All right. Commissioner Weissong Frick, here. Commissioner Wolthius,
Here.
Commissioner White,
Here.
Commissioner Teal.
Here.
I did have 2 emails, one from Commissioner Wood and one from Commissioner Melcher that they will be out. And I just received a message from Commissioner Graybill that he is on his way. So he will be tardy.
You'd make a public comment. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the Planning Commission on topics
that are not listed on the agenda? Are there any topics that are not on the agenda from the audience? You're okay. Okay. Review the minutes from the last meeting. Are there any corrections? Additions? I don't hear any.
Mm,
I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I move that we accept the minutes from the previous meeting.
All in favor, say aye.
I need a second.
I second the emotion. Second the emotion. I second the motion.
Okay, you seconded.
I
All
second.
in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Any opposed? Okay. Minutes are approved.
Okay.
Next thing-
Commissioner Teal will abstain since he wasn't here the
Abstain.
last time.
We have one public hearing tonight. And let me read some procedures a minute. Just to be sure that we're clear on that. Good job. Okay, we'll open the public hearing. And let's identify it a minute. It's going to be from Gail Heine. And the request is the applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to construct an approximately 200 square foot residential accessory structure on the subject property. The property located at 2309 Harding Street is an approximately 22,780 square foot vacant lot under SHMC 17.10.040 parentheses I and parentheses, a conditional use permit is required to allow the secondary use on a lot that does not contain a primary use. The subject property is located within the residential low-density R1 zone. Let me just read something else here to clarify things. The applicable substantive criteria are listed in the staff report. Testimony, arguments, and evidence must be directed towards the criteria described or other criteria in the plan or land use regulation, which the person believes to apply to the decision. Failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the decision maker and the parties an opportunity to respond to the issue precludes appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals based on that issue. So with the application that is here tonight, do we have any personal bias?
no,
And
No,
No. Do we have any conflict of interest? Any commission member, their immediate family that may have financial or other interests in the application?
no,
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 Any ex parte information? The planning commission is bound to base their decision on information received in the public hearing and what is presented in testimony. If a member of the planning commission has talked with an applicant or has information from outside the public hearing that needs to be shared at that time so that everyone in the audience has an opportunity to be aware of it and the rest of the planning commission is aware of it. And that way we can be rebutted and can be discussed openly. Any ex parte information?
no,
no,
Okay. Let's go to the application. And Angela, you can give us a report.
All right, thank you, commissioners. The applicant requests a conditional use permit to construct an approximately 200 square foot residential accessory structure on the vacant 22,780 square foot lot located at 2309 Harding Street. Under Sweet Home Municipal Code 17.10.040I, a conditional use permit is required to establish a secondary use on a lot without a primary use. The site is zoned residential low density R1. A review of the FEMA flood insurance rate map panel 41043C0914G dated September 29, 2010 confirms the property is not located within a special flood hazard area. Reviews of the statewide wetlands inventory and the national wetlands inventory likewise indicate no inventoried wetlands on the site. The proposed accessory structure is conditional use in the R1 zone and meets applicable development standards. Staff finds that the proposal satisfies the criteria for conditional use approval. The site characteristics and the R1 zone dimensional standards require the minimum lot area of 7,000 square feet, a minimum lot width of 70 feet, a front setback of 15 feet, a garage or carport setback of 20 feet, interior side setback of 5 feet with a 12-foot combined setback, rear setback of 15 feet, and a maximum lot coverage of 40%. The subject property significantly exceeds minimum lot size requirements. The proposed 200 square foot structure represents approximately 0.9% of the lot area. The site plan, which is attachment B in your packet, identifies the following approximate setbacks. Front setback is 73 feet, rear is 195 feet, east side setback is 60 feet, and west side setback is 5 feet. Staff find that the site's physical characteristics adequate to support the proposed use and that development standards are met. The accessory structure does not require public facilities or generate transportation impacts. As the simple storage shed intended for maintaining the vacant lot, the structure does not impose service demands. Staff find the development timely and compliant with the review criteria regarding transportation systems and public facilities. Neighboring properties consist of single-family residential uses to the northeast and west with a large vacant lot to the south. The proposed structure is compatible with the surrounding land use and will not alter neighborhood characteristic or impair use of nearby properties. Staff find the proposal meets the compatibility criteria. Staff have not identified negative impacts to the adjacent properties. Conditions of approval included in Section 4 ensure compliance with Sweet Home Municipal Code standards. The Sweet Home Municipal Code authorizes the Planning Commission to impose conditions necessary to ensure compliance with decision criteria and to protect the interest of surrounding properties, the neighborhood, and the city. Staff have included recommended conditions of approval in Section 4, consisting primarily of applicable local, state, and federal requirements. The conclusion and recommendation: if the Planning Commission approves this application, staff recommend that a condition of approval listed below be required in order to ensure that the application is consistent with the findings and review and decision criteria in Section 3, and as required by the Sweet Home Municipal Code and other provisions of law. Appeals to the Land Use Board of Appeals may only be based on review and decision criteria contained in Section 3. Recommending conditions of approval for CU 26-01. Number 1, the applicant or property owner shall not construct any accessory structure larger than 200 square feet under this conditional use approval without first obtaining a building permit. The applicant, property or property owner shall obtain and comply with all applicable local, state, and federal permits and requirements. Copies of all required permits and licenses shall be submitted to the City of Sweet Home Community and Economic Development Department for inclusion in the CU 26-01 record. Number 3, the applicant property owner shall comply with the dimensional standards of the Sweet Home Municipal Code 17.10 at the time of development. Planning Commission action. In acting on a conditional use permit application, the Planning Commission will hold a public hearing at which it may either approve or deny the application. If the application is denied, the action must be based on applicable review and decision criteria. If approved, the Planning Commission may impose conditions of approval. Staff's recommended conditions are included in Section 4. Appeal period. Pursuant to ORS 227.175, the Planning Commission may establish an appeal period of not less than 12 days from the date of the written notice that the Planning Commission's decision is mailed. Staff's recommendation is that the Planning Commission's decision on this matter be subject to a 12-day appeal period from the date that the notice of the decision is mailed. Order after the planning commission decides, staff recommend that a planning commission direct staff to prepare an order that is signed by the chairperson of the planning commission. The order would memorialize the decision and provide the official list of conditions, if any, that apply to the approval if the application is approved. Motion after opening the public hearing and receiving testimony, the planning commission's options include the following. Number one, move to approve application CU 26-01, which includes adopting the finding of fact listed in the staff report and the conditions of approval listed in section 4 of the staff report. The setting of a 12-day appeal period from the date of the mailing of the decision, and hereby direct staff to prepare an order to be signed by the chair to memorialize this decision. Number two, move to deny application CU 26-01, which includes adopting the findings of fact. You must specify, including the setting of a 12-day appeal period from the date of the mailing decision, and hereby direct staff to prepare an order to be signed by the chair to memorialize the decision. Number three, move to continue the public hearing to a date and time certain or for other. Do you have any questions for staff?
No.
Do any of you have questions for the staff?
No questions.
And we would invite the applicant to come forward if you'll sit in that chair and identify yourself by name, address.
Good evening. My name is Gail Heine. I live at 2331 Harding Street.
What would you like to explain to us of what you want to accomplish?
Oh, I live in the property adjacent to 2309. I have purchased the lot. I don't know precisely what I want to do with it, but primarily extend my garden space. And it would be very nice at my age to not have to walk across two large lots to get a tool over here to work over here. So I need a shed to put some tools in, maybe some fertilizer, just garden things. And I've been on Harding Street for almost 25 years now, and one does collect things over time. So a little bit of extra storage for antique chairs that need repaired and boxes of who knows what would also be nice to have. It's just a storage spot.
Any questions to the applicant?
So this would be strictly a garden shed, storage shed.
Place to put the lawnmower, because I have a different lawnmower I use there because I'm still finding metal and rocks and all kinds of things from the previous owner. So yes, it's being built by the Brownsville place. So it's on its own skids, and it's just, I'm not building it. It's not going to be slapdash. It's just a place to put goodies.
Have you looked forward in locating the shed to utilize this as a building lot in the future?
I doubt in my lifetime. When I die, my properties on Harding will go to my son, and he may decide otherwise. I do not want another house next to me. So that is not a consideration. I was going to put on a smaller shed originally until I found out I needed to pay money for this permit. And then if I wanted, for some reason, more shed space, I'd need to get another permit. So I decided to just go with the full 200 square foot maximum right from the get-go.
Just get it all over with at once.
Absolutely.
Okay. This is property that is already fenced.
Yes.
Okay. I guess I'd have a question about, well, it's probably grandfathered in, the fencing.
If there's fencing on there? Yes, if she already has a fence, it's pre-existing.
Okay. All right. Any other questions of the applicant?
Have accessory buildings been built in the R1 zone regardless of the primary residence? Have they been, is there a precedent for, say, just a single shed standing alone? Because I'm just
For
curious.
staff, yes. So if we can just take a second, if you guys have any more questions for the applicant, and then we can excuse
more
her and
questions.
have a discussion
Oh, okay.
with staff. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. We should probably go through the other
Yeah.
proponents.
Mhm.
and-
Am I done?
Okay.
Yep, you're done.
You're through,
Mhm.
if you think you're through. Okay. I don't see anyone else in the audience that would be involved in this, but I would invite any proponents' testimony, those who are in favor of the application. And we don't have any, and the same thing with opponents, anybody that would be in opposition to the application. And thirdly, if there's any neutral testimony, testimony from those who are neither in favor nor in opposition to the application. And I don't see any of those. That's part of our minutes. So we'll close the public hearing at 6:48.
So Commissioner Teal, I can ask to your question. Yes, we have a lot of properties here in Sweet Home where people own two lots next to each other, sometimes want to build a shop on the second lot. This is the same code that goes to that. So they have to have a conditional use to build a secondary building if they don't have a primary dwelling. They might own both and there might be a house on the other one, but they still have to have a primary dwelling. So they have to go through this process.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Oh,
So
If you-
I can
if-
say that years ago,
Okay,
us
if
personally,
you want to add additional testimony, we'll have to reopen the hearing for you. So this part of the hearing becomes now the planning commission and the city planner. Okay,
Go ahead.
any other questions? Joe?
I just, go ahead, Joe.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward.
Any other questions from any others?
no,
No.
it
Nope.
seems very straightforward.
There aren't a lot of questions. So I would entertain a motion.
So I've never done this part before. Do I say I move to
Mhm.
approve? Okay.
correct.
You can back up a page if you want, and Angela's already worded
Yeah.
what the
Mhm.
options are and
So,
what the conditions of approval would be.
okay, I move to approve application CU 26-01, which includes adopting the findings of fact listed in the staff report and the conditions of approval listed in section I-4, sorry, I'm not good at those, of the staff report. The setting of a 12-day appeal period from the date of the mailing of the decision, and hereby direct staff to prepare an order to be signed by the chair to memorialize this decision.
I second the motion.
Second,
Aye.
Aye.
aye,
Aye.
Hi.
or did you want to do a roll call?
Nope, we're fine. We don't have anybody online,
Okay,
so you're
are
good.
there any opposed?
Nope.
Okay. Your application is approved. And you do have 12 days if there was any reason for an appeal, which I don't think there is. And we wish you well.
I will contact you. I still have to write up the order and have it signed. So it will probably be another 7 days to do that. Mhm.
Okay.
Did we approve?
Should
Oh, we
have
did
the
approve the
slow
last
plan for
meeting.
Questions
Sorry.
and answers.
Well, next
from
meeting,
the Commission, any issues?
well, we still have the part of the agenda. You want to go through the agenda where it's staff updates?
We
It
need,
would help if I looked, wouldn't it?
It's been a while, I know.
yes,
The planning commission business, you have some?
So first, yes. So everybody, please put on your calendars, on May 12th at 5:30. And I'm specifically looking at someone. There will be a planning commission city council joint work session. So you will be having a work session together, to be, I won't be running that. That'll be run by the deputy city manager, but, we want to run with both of you together. So, and we would hope to have all of you there for that.
that's May 12th, 5:30.
Correct. And it'll be here in council chambers. And I will send a reminder out to you. And then just other staff updates, we have had I have had a lot of adjustment applications, property line adjustments and partitions, which those don't come before you. But there have been quite a few. We have a lot of developers taking advantage of the House Bill 458 divisions, which allow you to divide duplexes and then sell each lot separately. So we've actually had quite a few of those since that law passed. We are very experienced in those now. So people are taking advantage of the new housing rules and the middle housing opportunities. Some other trying to think of, I'm still working on code updates, so you will see code updates at some point. Just have to get through all the laws and rules and bills that pass in the state and try to get them all in there. So hopefully sometime in the next few months, we will see that and you guys can start reviewing the new code updates for that. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Well, just in the way of discussion,
Henry, you put your microphone.
okay. Excuse me. The law that now permits a little cabin for grandmother in the rear of the house.
ADUs, accessory dwelling units.
I'm seeing ads about build an additional structure and create some income from your property.
Mhm.
That doesn't seem to me to be what the intent was.
There is, so a lot of people are doing that, and that is part of the Affordable Housing Act is the accessory dwelling units. There are a lot of people converting sheds and garages. The complication with that is that we require a garage, and so if you go convert your garage, you have to have a carport or a garage elsewhere. Actually, my team right now, because we've had a few lately, are putting together kind of a 2-pager for people who want to convert buildings, but then there's also the separate either stick-built or manufactured ADUs that are separate on there. So we do actually have people building them and using them as rentals. They do have to have all separate utilities. And so there's criteria that goes along with them. It is allowed, but we are allowed to have some criteria, especially even with the division, the duplex divisions, they all have to have separate utilities. So there's things that we can require if that's what the developer is choosing to do. So it is a very popular thing. And with the state housing, middle housing and affordable housing acts, we're probably going to see a lot more of that.
I saw a commercial on TV. I don't even remember who the person was, but he said Oregon law states that with the ADU or accessory, that any lot in Oregon can have 2 homes on it. And I thought, whoa, that's a pretty blanket statement there. I'm sure that.
And just something to keep in mind, because we are discussing this, is yes, you are allowed to do that, but there are lot coverage requirements, there are setback requirements, there are size requirements. And so it's not just as simple as, there is also companies that sell the sheds that are calling them ADUs. And as far as building code goes, those are not habitable spaces without renovations done to them. And so it's not really a gray area. People think it's a gray area, but it's not a gray area. There's actually pretty stringent laws against what you can habitate and what not, what's a utility and what's something you can live in. And so we get a lot of that. We get a lot of people that think that they can just turn their own barn into a really cool apartment and realize what has to be done to bring it up to code for actual living space. And so we, like I said, my department right now is actually putting some information together. We're combining planning code and building code and some state code of how you can do these conversions. A lot of it has to do with people don't understand that you have a garage with a certain foundation. Well, it has to be different for a livable space. Your firewall ratings are different. And so there's a lot of things that people don't realize that they think, well, this is cool. I'm going to slap a bed in my garage, but it doesn't work that way. So, and then the ADUs, there's also, depending on the size of your primary dwelling. So it is a great way for people to have an extra income if they want to rent them out. It's a great way if, to I guess, back in the day, they used to call them mother-in-law suites. People still call them that. So it's an affordable housing option, and it's a popular one. So
When you say it has to have separate utilities, is that all utilities, power, water, everything?
depending on the use and depending on, so if it is a separate ADU, then yes. The only thing that water can be connected to the house depending on how it is. Sewer has to be completely separate unless there is not a way to connect to the sewer from wherever that rear of the
Okay.
property is. And so, but sewer definitely has to be, the duplexes that are divided, those have to be completely separate if you're
Gotcha.
going to sell them separately.
So it's very specific.
Yes, very much so. It's not a one size fits all. It depends on what you're using it for, where it's located at. So yeah.
Interesting subject, and it seems to me to be, there's always a way to get.
Commissioner Wolfius, can I get you on your microphone, please?
It just seems to me that there's always a way to get around the rules. If
Mm-hmm.
somebody works hard enough at it. Anyway,
Or some
Okay.
people just don't
there
care
anything else
and they
we
just
need
do
to
what
talk
they want to
about?
do.
pardon?
Unfortunately, there's just people that don't care and they just do what they want to do. So they get around the rules that way
Well-
until they get caught and then they're all angry.
I do have a
Well,
question about this issue that we dealt with tonight.
Uh-huh.
Because this seems like such a simple, basic thing. It looks like this could be streamlined, so the person wouldn't have to apply for the permit and go through this process for something that is basically this simple. It looks like this is an issue that could be handled, I guess I would say, through your office rather than having to go through this.
So the reason this came about, there was a time where just sheds were being allowed in shops. So one of the code updates that I am going to propose, so a 200 square foot shed on a residential property does not require a building permit. Anything larger than that does. And so I need to check with some state rules and how that works. But one of the proposals I'm going to make is that accessory buildings, not dwellings, accessory buildings like
Buildings.
structures like this
Yes.
that are under that 200 square foot maximum could go through just the building department. There will have to be some exceptions in there because we don't want people skirting the rules.
Right.
And so there will have to be some exceptions in there. But that was, until this, I've never had someone propose something. Usually it's large shops that people put in. And so this was the first that I've had this. And so that is one thing that I have in my notes to consider. Now, granted, I can propose it. Obviously, it has to go through you all. It has to go through the state. It has to go through city council. So that
Right.
doesn't mean that it will be successful, but I agree, something that doesn't require a building permit. It still requires setbacks. It still requires lot coverage. But it doesn't.
But with no utilities on the property and no other structure on the property, it just seemed like there should be a more streamlined process for this.
Yeah, well, there's many reasons why we go through this process, because there are times where in the past that people have put a shop on and then start living in it. And then it does, and so this is one of the ways that there's some restrictions. It's like you can have this, but these are the conditions in which you can have it. And so, but like I said, this is the first time I've ever had something, at this size
Right.
be proposed. So like I said, it's typically large pole barns and shops. So that we usually get proposed. So.
I was just curious.
But it also seems, it just seems to defeat the R1 zone. People buy a lot, buy a house thinking that it's can be single family dwellings. And now you've got two families on the same lot all over. Anyway, we don't need to stay all night. Nobody
Okay.
has anything
You need to close the.
else, we will close it. Meeting's over. 7:05. Good night, everybody.
Well, thank you, Dr. Walthius, for being the gavel guy.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Welcome here.
Thanks.
Before